As we wrap every week, our friends at the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park set the table for us to fire up our hottest takes. We put the invitation out to you. We want to know what's looking, that bee under your bonnet, that burr under your saddle, so to speak. These are all real emails to talk@ryanjesperson.com. It's the Flamethrower, presented by the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park. This one from Harry, who says, Jespo, I don't know what Danielle Smith and her MLAs truly believe, but their preoccupation with and willingness to pander to conspiracy theories has real costs for the people of Alberta. Events like this whole injection of truth thing, that vaccine thing, and the UCB's willingness to put forward false claims about vaccines, to say nothing of the government's failure to promote the efficacy and safety of vaccines, is going to lead to far fewer Albertans being immunized at all ages. It's going to lead to an increase in vaccine-preventable illness and subsequent serious health outcomes. The decision to ban electronic voting machines, largely because of unfounded fears of election fraud perpetuated by conspiracy theorists in the U.S., will cost the people of Alberta millions of dollars more to run elections and lead to significant delays in learning election results. And the unwillingness to recognize the severe threat that anthropogenic climate change poses, while coming up with theories that worsening wildfires are the result of arsonists, appearing with and supporting prominent climate change deniers like Tucker Carlson and Jordan Peterson, leads to decisions like that unjustified moratorium on solar and wind energy, which is estimated to have cost the province billions in lost investment. Governing a province is serious business, says Harry, and requires the government to be grounded in science and reality, not listening to, making policy decisions on, and investigating every single conspiracy theory brought to them by a party member. Until then, we, the people of Alberta, will all pay the price, as Danielle Smith and the UCP seem fixated on those conspiracy theories. And then Harry signs off. Have a great week. Thanks, Harry. Appreciate that. What about this from Russ? This is that email from Russ, the subject line, Chemtrails, OMG. I can't believe that's my subject line. Russ says, I listened to you and Johnny give Danielle Smith some credit for attempting to provide respect in a response to a town hall participant about that chemtrails question. Russ says, listen, I'm all for civil political discourse, and I do think that's something that's sorely lacking, especially when a lot of the conversation is done from this safety of one's couch or crapper. Thanks for the visual, Russ. He says, but I couldn't help but notice at the same time this BS from Danielle Smith was hitting the proverbial fan. One of the news channels posted an article about the rise of what they called salad bar extremism, the rise in conspiracies, the growing trend of people that are picking and choosing alternative realities, probably helped by algorithms, is leading to an increased risk of extremism. And we've already seen it in a lot of ways. Does a premier or other person in a position of leadership not have a fiduciary obligation to better attempt to diffuse garbage like this, as opposed to having it continue to poison discourse and ignore science and evidence, or even common sense? Russ says, I'll go one step further. I don't even think she was trying to be polite. What was the audience for this crowd? Was it a public town hall? Like, this feels a whole lot more like an attempt to humor her base or coddle some leadership review votes than any attempt at civility. Like, who are the unnamed people that she was talking to? The vagueness only leads to more conspiratorial thinking. And in doing so, he says the BS from DS, Danielle Smith, he's thinking of selling some shirts, he says. While the BS from DS embarrasses Albertans, it puts us at risk of extremism by continuing to fan the flames for selfish political gain. Now, I recognize, says Russ, that politicians play games like this all the time, but if there is risk of true social or physical harm, they should be held accountable. And this excessive BS from DS is leading to some serious fecal compaction in Alberta's discourse. That's from Russ. This one from Michael, who says, I'm watching on the news about that HWN Energy pump jack fire near Airdrie. Did you see that, by the way? A pump jack exploded?
Crazy. Yeah.
It was a wild fire. Michael says, and now the company says they're committed to cooperating with the Alberta Energy Regulator. Michael says, oh, they'll cooperate? You mean when the AER barely investigates and doles out absolutely no consequence for environmental damage and lack of safety? Yeah, I guess I would cooperate with that too. The Alberta Energy Regulator is a joke and an embarrassment, just like our premier. That from Michael. You can fire up your flamethrower anytime to talk@ryanjesperson.com. It is proudly presented by the DQs in Palisades, Namao, Newcastle, Westmount, Baseline Road. When you're in there picking up a Blizzard or a signature stack burger, you let them know that Real Talk sent you. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks, everybody, for making this part of your routine. Make sure you tell your friends. Thanks for subscribing on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll talk to you on Monday.